Hello everybody, welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. There's been a lot of talk about ultra processed foods and processed foods and unprocessed foods, and it's like, well, why should I care? What's the difference? Well, I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about that today while I prepare myself a meal, and I'm going to be using some of all of those. And at the end of the video, I would like for y'all to leave a little comment, tell me what y'all think was the most unhealthy and what was the most healthy. I would appreciate that, and I would be very curious to see what y'all think. So let's get started. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I've just done some reading on the subject, and I want to share with you what I've learned. Okay, so what's the difference between processed, unprocessed, and ultra-processed food? Let's start with the unprocessed food. That would be foods that are still in their whole form, with everything that's still in them. Their natural fiber, protein, their healthy fats, any vitamins and minerals, all the things that help to build better health. Like whole fruits, you know, like a strawberry that hasn't been anything done to it, vegetables, fresh meat, fish, grains, legumes, nuts, all of that. Now, a processed food isn't really much different than an unprocessed food, except for maybe it's been cut up or frozen or heated. Technically, they're quite healthy options, including the frozen fruits and veggies, or you might see like some fruit in the refrigerator section at your grocery store that's already been cut up, and fresh juices, like if you would freshly juice carrots or something like that, that would still be considered a processed food because it's undergone that process of juicing. So there's a lot of processed foods that are actually very healthy for you, like whole wheat bread as opposed to white bread. You know, with the white bread, it's not in its whole form anymore. So a lot of stuff has been stripped from it. So also a processed food that's good for you is the extra virgin olive oil, plain yogurt, dried fruits because they've been dried. You see, that's the process that they've gone through. Now, when you start talking about ultra processed foods, that's the ones that fall on the very far end of the spectrum when it comes to these three food categories. Some not even resembling food at all anymore. Ultra processed items are typically stripped of most of their nutrients, like I was saying with the white bread. And they include a lot of additives from those that you would have trouble pronouncing. Like when you look at the label on them and look at the ingredients, there's some stuff there that you would have difficulty even pronouncing. Also, there are some things like sugars in various forms, salts, saturated fat, and trans fats. Generally, if you wouldn't find most of the products in your kitchen, that's a telltale sign that it's an ultra-processed food or drink. Examples of ultra-processed foods and drinks are stuff like chips, cheese curls, fruit snacks. I'm not talking about cut up apples now, okay? Like, I don't know, just fruit snacks, packaged cookies. That's going to be different than your home baked cookies. It's going to have a lot of stuff in the ingredients you can't even pronounce or don't know what it is. Candy, some frozen meals, packaged cold cuts. These are all ultra processed. Fast food, soda, hot dogs, refined wheat products like certain crackers, pastas, and white bread. Most ultra-processed foods are high in added sugar, sodium, and saturated fat, nutrients that we want to limit. Diets high in these nutrients are associated with negative health outcomes, including heart disease, diabetes, chronic inflammation, and unhealthy weight gain. Ultra-processed foods are also often low in nutrients, including being low in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. There's more and more studies that are being done and coming out about ultra-processed foods. One review published in Nutrients examined over 40 studies assessing these impacts and found ultra-processed foods to be associated with increased risk, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, depression, and irritable bowel syndrome in adults. It's also linked these highly processed products to other disorders and asthma in children. Another study in neurology revealed their impact on brain health, linking these foods to increased risk of dementia and cognitive decline in older adults. So, is it okay to eat ultra-processed foods sometimes? Well, you know you're going to be exposed to these ultra-processed foods and are going to consume them at times, as I do as well. So, what I try to do is eat whole, nutrient-dense foods most of the time, and I try to limit the ultra-processed foods. So, I guess my conclusion is that knowledge, moderation, and balance are key. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I enjoy my fair share of junk food. I have weaknesses to things like chocolate and potato chips, and I get a sweet tooth sometimes that I just cannot deny. I have the occasional soft drink. So there's all kind of junk food out there that I'm guilty of eating. And I know that just eating good foods isn't going to guarantee long life, because anything could happen. You could eat and exercise and eat good foods all the time and get run over by a bus tomorrow. I mean, who knows? But I have heard old timers say stuff like, if I would have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. So, you know, I do want to try to implement some of these good practices into my lifestyle so that maybe I can have a better, healthier life if I do live a long life. That's up to our Heavenly Father. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to try to make some good, healthy choices. I guess that's really all I'm trying to say. If you have some comments about what I could have did differently in preparing this meal that would have made it better,
time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you'll like,
feel
share,
free
and
to leave
subscribe.
me some
And until
friendly
next time,
comments.
bye.
I'm always willing to hear your comments, and I really enjoy looking them over. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Always do your own research to see what works best for you.